The WNBA is having a season. And hey, they're getting watched more. That's a good thing. But at the same time, a lot of people are all saying the same thing when it comes to why they don't enjoy watching the WNBA. And I'm going to cover three things. I'm not going to cover specific players because specific players are not the problem. Yes, there are some of them that are just bad or they don't play fundamentally correct, but that's not necessarily their fault. And I'm going to cover the three main reasons: coaching, refereeing, and fundamentals. Well, okay, it's fighting slash fundamentals. And it's kind of the same thing because if you're not being taught the fundamentals, then you have to rely on something else to be able to win. So let's get into this.
Hey folks, this is Paul with Redneck Sports. I want to thank you for viewing my video, and I want to give you one thought process. There was a famous coach at the University of Tennessee by the name of General Robert Nealon. He had 6 maxims, but number 2 maxim is what everybody should apply to their life. Play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. That's how to live your life right there.
Okay, let's start with coaching. Stephanie White gets brought into the Indiana Fever. She seems to want to coach a slow down offense. That's been bad for the team. As you just saw, they just lost 20 points to the Dream. The Dream have their number. I mean, it's not even funny how bad the Indiana Fever are this year. Tyler Marsh at Chicago. He's not teaching fundamentals. His star player is having they've already talked about how Angel Reese is having to be taught how to play or how to do layups. I've already made a video about the mic and drill. Lynn Roberts at the Sky, at the Sparks. Here's someone, in all honesty, it seems that she may have been changing the culture there, but it hasn't been translating into wins. They've only got 3 wins. And here's somebody who went 386 to 291 at Utah with the Utes. She was 39-23 at University of the Pacific. Um, Pardon me. That was when they switched to the WCC. When they were in the Big West Conference, they were 96 and 121. So basically, she was loser at Pacific. 86-31 with the Chico State Wildcats with the California Collegiate Athletic Association. And she gets to the Sparks and they've won 3 games. Okay, so they've had problems with injury. She's having to redo everything. Fine. But this is the problem that's going on in the WNBA. The coaching people, okay, on top of the fact that they don't have the training facilities, they're not stressing fundamentals. They're just they're not able to coach their players because they're not coaching to the strengths of their players. It's turning into a situation where you've got some great coaches, you know, Liberty, Aces, Lynx. These are teams that are winning, but you've got so many more bad coaches in the WNBA, and this is making the league look like idiots. They're being put much more on the national stage, and if they're playing badly on this stage, it's going to cause people to turn off the TV. Now, here's another thing: the refereeing is horrific in the WNBA. Uh, People are getting away with things like DJ Carrington, who is literally grabbing opposing players by the hair and throwing them down, and she's not getting called for it. You have no calls made when it's if it's Indiana Fever, they're making calls against the Indiana Fever, but anybody that's on the opposing team of the Fever, yeah, they don't get calls. This is quite literally idiotic to watch. I barely enjoy watching a WNBA game because that on top of the bad coaching, like I've already said, the officials, eh, they're so bad that I feel like that they are all betting on the games. Like they've got specific teams that they want to win and they know are going to win because that's how they're refereeing. Seriously, that's what it sounds like. And they had just brought in people to train these refs. They're not trained unless it is that they're betting on the games. And I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying that's what it looks like. These refs are so bad that by the time you get done watching a day's worth of games, you could put together an hour or two highlight reel of bad calls. This needs to end. On top of the fact of that they're not calling enough flagrant fouls, you need to get rid of the fighting and the hair pulling and the eye gouging. This is not the 1940s and 1950s men's basketball. This is supposed to be the science driven basketball era, and this isn't what you're seeing. What you're seeing is a style of basketball that went out when they tore down the fences and the nets to keep the audience from getting hit. This is what you're seeing, and the refs are responsible for this because they're not making the appropriate calls. Probably pushed by the front office on this. And the third thing that I'm going to cover, fundamentals have to be taught. Yes, this is coaching. Yes, it's and because they're not teaching fundamentals, players are thinking, well, the only thing I can do to play proper defense is to fight. Well, not necessarily fight, but to do violent acts in the game. None of this is good for the game. If fundamentals are not being taught by the coaches, then you're going to have a situation where they're just getting frustrated and they're going to take their frustrations out on the other team. Not to mention, there should not be folks celebrating when a player literally is smashing into other players. You should not have the injuries that you have because you've got players that are playing rough. Like I said, this is the science driven era of basketball. You have so many chances in the basketball era because the NBA has proven there are ways to do this. Now, can you be true rivals? Yes. We don't need the friendliness of the NBA and the WNBA, but at the same time, we don't need folks that can't do basic basketball and are getting so frustrated at the situation that they're using violence of some sort to play the game. And this isn't a specific color line, so don't even start with that. Yes, I know most of the WNBA is one color, but it's across the color lines as to who's getting frustrated and doing stupid things. This is both officiating and coaching that do this, but this is what's going on, and it's making the game unwatchable. This is coming from somebody who's been watching it for a long time, and yes, gets frustrated at 5 minutes of watching a game and there's no scoring, and it's not because of defense. Seriously, that's what I see in these games. And now that there are people that are getting more attention because of the internet and because social media, now you've got players that are thinking, well, we can rough them up and we're going to get noticed for it. Fundamentals. Let's get to fundamentally sound basketball. Get rid of the pulling of hair, slamming of players, eye gouging. And this isn't, I know a lot of people are in here watching Caitlin Clark, but she's not the only one having this happen to her. Seriously, watch DJ Carrington. Watch games with her. Go back and watch some of the games that DJ Carrington has played this year, and it has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark when it comes to Carrington. DJ Carrington, sorry. This is not good for numbers, and this is causing people to turn off the games. I really do love women's basketball. I have stated this time and time again. Pathead Summit, I idolize Pathead Summit. I can imagine her watching these games and going, no. I imagine all of the women that brought this up, brought women's basketball to the point that you could do this, and they're probably watching this going, no. Now, I'm well aware that there are certain WNBA commentators that are loving it because they think this is going to get eyes on the game. It isn't, and it's showing via the numbers. You need to prop up the players who are worth propping up. You know, Dewana Bonner should be a poster child for the WNBA. Here's a woman who is legendary. If there is a, she should be in the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame when she retires. She is that good. As a player, Stephanie White belongs there. What she did at the Sun, she should be there. But what she's doing with the Indiana Fever, no. Tyler Marsh, no. Lynn Roberts, I'm going to give her benefit of the doubt, but I don't know if she's going to be. I think she's going to help install the right mindset, but I don't think she's going to be able to coach at this level. And Tyler Marsh, just no, no. And Stephanie White, at this point, I'm wanting Christy Sides back. That is how bad I'm looking at Stephanie White right now. What she did at the Connecticut Sun, how is she not able to take Dewana Bonner, Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, and pretty much the entire team who are amazing players? I mean, there's like one bad player that I can think of on the Indiana Fever, and Stephanie White's got them playing the slow down offense, ball control offense that is pathetic, and it's making it horrible to watch. Paige Beckers had a concussion. That's not a good thing because people are paying attention to her. This needs to end, and we need to get some common sense, or or the WNBA is going to keep losing people watching. I mean, but tell me what you think. Do you agree with me that these three things need to be changed in a way, and this will help people watch more WNBA games? I think so, but hey, I want your opinion. This has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.
I want to thank you for watching my video. And if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, and comment. Y'all have a good day now.